Hello, man. Hello there. It's another new week, another Monday. Yeah, so we live to grind again, you see. So, uh, this Monday, there is something yesterday I just learned. It was just about imagination. When someone tells you that, hey, you're imagining, that's just on your imagination. So, it's often people look like they don't take imagination as something important. They take something like as if let's say you are fantasizing or something you are imagining. Most of the time, you are imagination. People see it as it will never come to it will never come to reality. Yeah. So uh, let's say for you to do something, I think there is some picture you should draw. Let's say you should imagine. Uh, for now, let's say you are in a house, maybe you don't know that the house you are in, and maybe you want a maybe better house, or maybe you want it to be in a better neighborhood. I think first you should have a picture in your mind before you should have a picture in your mind, so that that picture you have drawn in your mind is what will take you it will take you further to maybe executing or maybe working on your dreams. When someone saying I have a dream, I think that's an imagination, because you cannot and also you cannot imagine what's about you. Let's say you have never traveled, you are not a guy, you have never traveled, but maybe you have traveled, let's say some cities only. Let's say you have not traveled that much, so that means your imagination is based on the things you have seen and the environment you have been in. Because if someone, let's say you have been born in a political family, great political family, or maybe even you are maybe interested in politics, I think now you can have an imagination of going into politics, and maybe because you have been in those environments, or maybe because you like something, maybe you love watching, let's say these you love watching politics, or you love you love, let's say, seeing, I don't know how I can put it, but you love politics. So I think your imagination will be based on politics. So maybe you want to one day vie for a seat. Let's say you want to maybe become a CEO. Maybe because you cannot just wake up and you want to be a CEO or you want to be a pilot. Let's say because you have seen something, or maybe you have been watching, or maybe you are interested in. So I think first, and for you now, after you have seen something, I think you'll be imagining yourself as a, let's say, a CEO. Maybe you need a good office, you need something, yeah, that type of environment. So I think first it first comes, you start with your imagination first, so that after imagination is when now you can work on your dreams and execute it, and maybe start and now go to those levels maybe you wanted. So I think first imagination, you imagine yourself. Yes, I want to be a pilot. You imagine yourself in the airport. You imagine yourself with those pilots uniform. You imagine yourself. Yeah. So I think first after you imagine yourself, now is where maybe you'll get the romance of it. You see, oh, that environment is great. You imagine yourself, maybe you're maybe, yeah, yeah, I'd say as you, let's say you imagine yourself you're a doctor, maybe you solve problems, you heal people, you see, and you enjoy it. So I think now after you imagine yourself, because imagination I think will be giving you a picture, and it will be making you that you want to be there. So I think imagination is often at times we take it as if it will never come to reality. But I think imagination is what draws the picture of us to start working on that dream. Even when you see uh, there's a way in the country I'm, worldwide now, you'll see there's Gen Zs, and maybe there's the millennials, and millennials will be saying these Gen Zs things think that we were stupid all that time. But I think these people is based on the imagination that they can imagine that we can have a country, peaceful country. We can have a country where resources are shared equally. We can have a country where we have roads, where there is roads, where there is better healthcare. But now, when they see the mediocrity happening, they can't take it. They are wondering how is this happening. But I think now the millennials, maybe they have accepted that we can will be living in this type of environment. So I think this generation now, I think it's based on their imagination that how can we be living in such and this such kind of environment. You see, it's a second. So I think everything is just it's based on imaginations. It's based on imagination. Someone is imagining. I think we should do better. I think we should do better. But now people always imagine. I think we should do better. But maybe the people who were there before never imagined. They know that this is life, and this is how we'll be living. That and this is how we'll be living life. So when someone hears you saying, so when someone hears you saying, this leader should be accountable, these people should do this, they wonder these people are very young. They were just born yesterday. What all of a sudden the late president of ours once said, all of a sudden you become clever. But it's not all of a sudden you become clever. It is timelines change because I think there is a way I knew the Gen Zs ask why, then uh, what is what the millennials used to ask. Uh, then I think the Gen Alphas will be asking how. I've forgotten the one for Gen X's. There's the question of is the question they used to ask. But let's say for the millennials, they used to ask what or which church do you go to, which car do you have, the type of wealth. Then the Gen Zs ask why, because all of a sudden they are in this world and they are questioning everything. Why this is happening? Why this is happening? Why this is happening? Then now for the Gen Alphas, when they come, they'll be saying that how. So this is how it is done. This is how all this should be done. This is how this should be done. So there have been those differences of between us because the type of question we ask is different. The type of question you ask is different. There's the one for Gen X, the, the, I think they are called the boomers or the Gen X. There is the question which they used to ask, but which I'm sure with this the millennials they ask what or which. I think or what I think is the one for Gen X. Uh, what do you have? Because where this where you find I think there's the mission going to the moon because it was more of a political thing because, so that um, they can be asking, "Have you ever gone to the moon?" Then you'll say no. They say, "As we have gone to the moon." So what do you have? What have you ever achieved in this life? So what is the question which the Gen X used to ask? But for the millennials is which car do you drive? Which church do you go? Which type of let's say food do you eat? Which? Then now for the Gen Z is why this is happening? Why do you take this as do you see this as something normal? Why do you see this as something we should be doing? Then for the Gen Alphas now, the generation which is coming, which is rolling out, is they'll be saying how. So how is this should be done this way now? Because those questions which Gen Zs were asking why this is this way, now these people are offering the solution of this is how this should be done. Yeah. So that's it. See, I don't know. America was celebrating 250 years of independence, something of that sort. That's what tells you all the country is old. Yeah, because uh, the funny thing is that people never knew that China is older than the US. I think China is many years older than the US, many years. Because China's civilization goes back to the Great Wall of China. Though there are some people who don't agree with that, they say where the wall is facing that shows that it was not China who built it. but China tradition has been there. It's only that maybe things like opium is what made Chinese maybe to be enslaved. They were not really enslaved that they became slaves for people, but opium. And I think they were enslaved with opium for I think 100 years because Chinese used to sell tea, and because Chinese used to sell tea, people the Europeans consumed their tea, and they spent a lot of silver buying their tea. And so when the Europeans wanted to return back their silver, they started smuggling opium into their country. And I tell you, the Chinese were colonized for 100 years. So that's why when you see those people, anytime I think if you are got with drugs, I think it is punishable by death. I think so. Because they were enslaved. They were enslaved by opium, and opium is another drug. Although opium, I think opium is the one we use for pain to make painkillers. I'm not sure with that. Yeah. So but their civilization goes way back. So there is even the way tea entered Europe is that one of the Europeans had a spy. I'm sorry. Europeans had a spy who once took just tea when growing tea. You just if you have just a stem, you can just put it into the soil, then it will grow. What do you call that? And I did agriculture. Now I'm forgetting that. So I think he stole that stem. Then that stem alone is what grows. Is what grows. What do you call? Is what grows uh, tea. It's what grows tea. Yeah. So I think now when China is older, so when people see where China is now, people should know that they have been structures these people have been building for long. And look at now US. US now is 250 years old. Then Kenya, I think Kenya we are 60 something, maybe we are 50 something. So sometimes these countries are far ahead of us because maybe of the years they have been around. But that does not give an excuse because if you see places like Dubai, Qatar, even China, by doing in the last 40 years was not like that. But it's when a leader comes and they cooperate or they work with the citizens and they give the citizens their visions. Not these kind of here in Africa we are given some types of manifesto which there is no future here because we are told agriculture and the agriculture thing is not that we are moving from this analog farming to this digital farming. No, we'll be subsidizing only fertilizer. We, there are some things literally uh, it is not it's short term stuff. And you're told about ICT, it's not about they see ways in which these other big companies will come into their country so that after these big companies come to their countries, their citizens learn to make phones, computers, what, and maybe some sophisticated stuff so that tomorrow they can do it by their own. No, we are there saying, let's go look for jobs uh, elsewhere. And we're not doing even the cream de la cream jobs. No, we'll be doing the last jobs like data annotation. We are not given we don't have engineers, the main engineers there of AI. You see, so I think like, we should have some types of when we talk about manifesto, we should have a long term manifesto. Say that this president can take this after his term has ended, the other president can come and take over. But when we have this short term type of manifesto, I don't think it will be helping. So I think we should have a long term. Even when it comes to like for Kenya, we are building now some houses called affordable houses. So I think when building one of these houses, it should be another standard of houses with good ventilation, good quality, and good structure, so that we can use it even for the near futures. But you see, what we do is that you'll find us you'll find us building something just for the sake. So in the next 10 years, these structures are not there. These structures are in trouble condition, or maybe these structures even others maybe they will have collapsed. You see. So I think the type of manifesto these people should be bringing should be long-term manifesto, the one that can help people from this step to the other step. Not this type of manifesto that after that just a short time it ends with him. Then another person comes with these uh, lame manifestos. You see? Yeah. Well, I think I'll be ending my stream there. That was great. That's it for Monday. I don't know. Last week I was saying if I'll be free in the evening. But anytime if I get if I be, anytime I'll be free at the evening, I think I'll be doing some live streams also. Yeah, if you have any question, you can just put it there. You can like, you can subscribe, and yeah, if you have any question, you can just put it in the comment section. Thank you.